Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Sweden once again, and this is another brewery who I've never reviewed anything from yet, so looking forward to this one and I hope you guys enjoy it. So we're going to go to a little town called Knivsta, which is kind of close to Arlanda Airport in the middle of Stockholm and Uppsala, and we're doing it my first review from the train station brewery. So this is a style of beer that I really quite enjoy. This one is called the Third Rail. It's an American style brown ale and it comes in at 5% ABV, and this one was recommended to me by the guys in Systembolaget in Uppsala, of course. And it's a brewery I've wanted to try a beer from these guys for quite some time, but you can't get their beers outside of Uppsala or Stockholm from what I gather. There's a lot of breweries like that in Sweden who make their beers only available in their local Systembolagets, which to me personally, it doesn't make that much sense, but from their financial perspective it does. But if you have a national infrastructure like Systembolaget, I don't know why they charge breweries to take their beers down into other counties and stuff. It's a little bit it's a little bit strange, but we've got the beer now. That's the main thing. It's a style that I like, and it's a brewery that I've wanted to review for a wee while, so a thumbs up on that count. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Train Station Brewery. Like I said, very first time I'm trying one of their beers. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, is a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the Train Station Brewery then. So as the name suggests, the Train Station Brewery was founded in an old train station in Knivsta, which is just outside of Stockholm. It's actually right in the middle of Uppsala and Stockholm, of course, and I'm a bit annoyed because I didn't know where it was, and if I'd known where it was, we were staying very close to Arlanda. I actually could have visited them when I was over there a few weeks back. But the founders of the brewery are Colin Nordstrom and Simon Wikström as well. So Colin has a background as a biochemist, and he knows the in and outs of beer and winemaking. Apparently he's really good at it on the sort of the micro level, if that makes sense. But Simon, on the other hand, worked in marketing and PR, and he operates a number of different companies that specialise in marketing and design for lots of different beverage companies around the world. But the pair apparently met when they were working together in the wine industry in Sweden, and they were quite unimpressed with the folksöl assortment or offering that was available in the supermarkets, so they decided to make a brewery together and produce something that was just a little bit different. If you don't know, in Sweden you're only allowed to buy alcohol that's over 3.5% alcohol content from Systembolaget, which is the state-owned alcohol stores. So in the supermarkets, anything that's sold there has to be below 3.5, and if it's below 3.5, it's termed a folksöl, which is basically a people's beer if you want to literally translate it. But they started producing their low alcohol beers. They produced an American pale ale at 3.5%, and apparently it was really quite popular. They launched this beer back in 2012, and they've grown steadily ever since. A lot of their growth, actually, from what I was reading, has been produced by the crowdfunding. They've raised something like €86,000 through a GoFundMe page. I found that, and I was reading all the history of the brewery, so I put that in my brewery notes for the video. But they've grown, they were saying that they were growing like 35% per year, which is pretty impressive actually, and there's a lot of small breweries doing this, and that's one of the great things about Sweden actually, because they've got the stricter alcohol laws. It's actually been really good for their microbrewing and things like that. There's so many guys starting up these small businesses and starting to produce craft beer. But at the moment they've got around 5 or 6 different beers that they've produced. A couple of them, from what I gather, they have brewed some beers for a few other little microbrewers as well, which is pretty cool, but they're focusing on doing their own stuff. And they do have a members bar in Knivsta as well, so if you join the brewery and sort of give them a little bit of funding and things like that, you can actually go to various different events there. But hopefully I can attend one of those at some point. I don't know when I'll be back in Stockholm. I'll be down in Lund when I head back to Sweden, of course, but an interesting brewery, and it is cool to see another brewery that I've just kind of started up and have used crowdfunding and things like that. The whole craft brewing industry is quite ingenuitive, I guess you would say, but apparently they produce some really nice beers, so we'll see how we get on with this one. Like I said, this one in particular was recommended to me by the guys at the Systembolaget when I was in when I was in Uppsala. But yeah, I'll let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open up. I can't speak in this video, not quite sure why, but yeah, nice looking beer, this one. I do like the kind of golden images of the trains and stuff. When I was young, I really loved trains. Like, started with Thomas the Tank, and then I've got one of these little model railways as well, and plain bottle cap on this one, just a plain gold on the back. It says on the back here in Swedish, this is a mild brown ale with sweet things and a little bit of fruit. There's a little bit of coffee and chocolate flavour in it as well. It's perfect with grilled meat. And I'm not sure what the last little bit is actually, but yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. I do like the label artwork on that. It would be cool actually if they put that kind of gold symbol there on the top of the bottle caps, but I know that's quite expensive for them to do. But this brewery, if you actually go to the station in Knivsta, it is right there. It's Stationsvägen 2, if you're interested in the address. But yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. As I say, it was recommended, one of my favourite styles I enjoy actually, the American style brown ales, 5% ABV. Without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah, nice smoky opening there, and we'll get it out and into the glass. So, as you would expect from a brown ale, it's poured a nice brown colour, duh. But yeah, I would say in terms of colour then, this one probably, I think it's fair to describe this one as a sort of mahogany colour. If I hold it up to the light actually, it's got a little bit of redness to it. But yeah, as you can see, it's a nice sort of, probably somewhere between a dark copper and a light mahogany colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy head on this one. I would say the head is a kind of slightly beige, fawny colour. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, you know, it does look pretty nice, and pretty much what you would expect from a brownie. There's a little bit of fruity quality coming off the aroma, but let's take a closer look at it and just see how we get on then. Yeah. So with this one, I would say you can definitely pick up a little bit of a roasted quality to this one. There's definitely a chocolate malt in there. There's quite a bit of brown sugar coming out of this beer as well. And the brown sugar, I would say, is quite toasted more than anything. You can really smell the sweetness of it coming out of this beer. There's a little bit of a bready note to it as well, which is quite interesting. Yeah. There's almost a little bit of a kind of woody, very slightly woody or nutty aroma coming off this beer as well. But the fruity notes are nice. It's quite a, I would say the fruity quality coming off this beer is quite a reddish fruit quality. It's almost like figs, and there's maybe a little touch of a kind of slightly raisiny sharpness to this one as well. So yeah, I think to kind of sum up the aroma of this beer, I would say there's a little bit of brown bread in there. You can pick up a little bit of the chocolate. Definitely some sort of brown sugar. The brown sugar does smell quite toasted. A little bit of biscuity sweetness in there as well, I reckon. And some woody, there is definitely a sort of woody, nutty complexity to it. It almost smells a little bit like tobacco or something. There is a little bit of this almost tobacco aroma to this beer. Or for the Swedes, probably smells a little bit like snus. But yeah, it's an interesting aroma that comes off this one. There's a little bit of a sweet, red fruity note, like I was saying. To me it comes across as quite figgy. There's a little bit of a candied fruit note to it, but it does have a little bit of that almost raisiny sharpness to the beer as well. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But this one smells as if it's going to be quite nice, so we'll see how we get on. So this one is the third rail, an American style brown ale from the train station brewery in Knivsta, near Arlanda, the airport between Stockholm and Uppsala in Sweden. Let's get stuck into this beer then. Once again, Slanja, skål. Yeah. That's quite nice actually. I mean, what I would say about this one is, in terms of a brown ale, this one's quite a nice kind of easy drinker, I would say. And again, it's about how the flavours blend together. It's not got anything about it that's really particularly punchy. This one's all about how the flavours sort of blend together and produce just something really nice. That's what this beer is all about. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I do quite like this one. You can get some brown ales that can lean a little bit too much towards the kind of dark, roasty, malty side of things, and they forget that the brown ale is supposed to have a little bit of sweetness. And you can get some of them that are just a little bit too sweet. This one does kind of find that sort of middle road, if you like, which works really well for it. So yeah, I have to admit, I certainly would go back to this beer. I'll tell you that after only 2 sips. They've done a nice job of this one. It's just a nice, easy drinking, quite sessionable brown ale actually. So with this one, you can feel there's a little bit of a brown bready quality. That just blankets the middle of your tongue there. On top of that, you can feel there's a little bit of there's a very slight toasty, grainy quality to this one, but it's not overpowering. There's a sweet caramel in there, a little bit of a biscuity quality as well. It's almost like digestive-y biscuits, I would say. And then as you move kind of further on into the beer, it's almost like there's a little bit of there's almost a slightly kind of butterscotch, kind of Werther's Original type flavour to this beer as well. I don't know if the Swedes actually get Werther's Original, but it's this sort of almost, it's this kind of butter flavoured sweet that you get in Scotland and England, and the flavour in this beer reminds me a lot of that. There is a very slightly kind of woody and nutty, I'd say probably more woody flavour actually. There's definitely a little bit of a kind of woody character to the malt base in this beer as well, but the main complexity to this beer is in the malt base, and it works, it really does work quite well actually, this one. As I say, it's just a nice kind of light, easy going beer, but it does have it's sufficient complexity that you would, the complexity that you would expect of an American style brown ale, so thumbs up to them on that count. But yeah, as you go further through this beer, I would say that when your mouth adjusts to this a little bit more, it does become just a little bit sweeter. You get more of the woody notes, you get a little bit of that kind of butterscotchy flavour that I was talking about, and the caramel notes kind of come out of it as well, which is quite nice. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things, there's a little bit of earthy character there, a little bit of herbal note as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, and I would say a little bit of an almost floral note to the beer as well, which is kind of nice. As you go round the front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy too. And then for the fruity side of things, it's quite interesting actually, because it's mainly a candied fruity note that you're getting out of this one. So yeah, behind the front curve of the palate, you've got that little oily bubble there, and that's where these nice fruity aromas come out. I would say with this one, it's a little bit of a figgy quality that comes out of the beer. It's got a little bit of a kind of candied red fruit note to it as well. So it almost reminds me of these little heart-shaped sweets that you get in the Haribo Star Mix. But as you get further and further into the aftertaste of this beer, a little bit more of the earthiness comes out from the hops. You get a bit more of the woody character as well, and some of the grainy notes start to push their way out of the malt base too, which is really nice. But yeah, overall, it's a really nice brown ale. It's just all about how these flavours blend together. But I have to say, to the guys at Train Station Brewery, they've done a nice job of this one, so definitely check it out. So yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say light to mid-bodied, probably leaning towards the mid-bodied side of things. Carbonation is moderate on this one. It does have a little bit of crispness to it. The mouthfeel is kind of wet and oily. There's a good bit of malty sweetness to this one, but as I say, as the flavour progresses, it's a little bit sort of grainy, I would say. The hops in this one, I would say, there's a little bit of hoppy bitterness, but overall it's not too bitter. There's just a nice little bit of that there. Nice little bit of juicy fruitiness as well, and the carbonation kind of helps bring out the juicy fruity qualities as well, which is nice. There's just a little bit of that juicy fruit flavour. But yeah, it's a really nice beer. I recommend that you have a go at it for yourself and just see what you think. If you're a fan of the American brown ales, I think you are really going to enjoy this one. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this. A really nice, just easygoing, sessionable American brown ale. So until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews, and try some of these Train Station beers. On the basis of this one, it's definitely made me want to try some of their other beers that they do. They seem to be specialising, like I say, in the low alcohol beers and just the nice kind of sessionable things. So have a go at them. Let me know your own thoughts on them in the comment section below. But the American brown ale that they do is pretty nice. It's got a really interesting combination of flavours, and it's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, like I said, thank you for watching my beer reviews, and I will catch you soon with the next one. So this one is the third rail, the American style brown ale from the train station brewery in Knivsta, just outside of Stockholm in Sweden. A really interesting beer, this one. They've done a nice job of this, so try some of their beers. Really nice, just easy going, sessionable stuff from these guys, so hopefully I can review some more in the future. So until the next time, it's Landry just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Skål.